Here's the last big item on their repeal agenda. And I want all the students here and their parents to listen to me. Because this will win the election for John Callahan if every young person knows this. All these polls you see assume there'll be a 25% drop in the number of people voting from 2008. That's typical. But they assume that Hispanics and African Americans will drop 35 to 40%. And even more devastating, they assume younger voters, 25 and younger, their turnout will drop 55%. If that were not true, John Callahan would be 10 points ahead today. Now here's what you need to know. He said that they were committed to cut student aid. Let me explain what that means. Last year, the Congress passed and the President signed the most dramatic expansion of college aid since the GI Bill. Here is what it does. It takes the $60 billion in subsidies we've been paying to banks to make student loans away and puts a small portion in a loan reserve, and the Education Department sends to every college the money to make the student loans. Makes the loan cheaper. When we did that on an optional basis when I was president, the average student saved $1,300 for every $10,000 they had to repay. That's a lot of money. Even more important, it says from now on, every single solitary student in America with a student loan will have the absolute right to pay that loan back as a small fixed percentage of their income if it takes up to 20 years. Never more than 10%. And if you become a teacher or a police officer, a nurse, something else, it can be less than that. You see what this means? Nobody will ever have to drop out of college again. Ever. In this decade, for the first time in my life, we fell from 1st to 9th in the world in the percentage of our young people with college degrees. 12th in the percentage of young adults. It's a recipe for disaster. It's all fixed. And 2/3 of the savings, $60 billion, 2/3 of that's going to go into more increases in Pell Grants, more increases in work-study programs, more increases in tax credits to defray tuition. It's fabulous. Guess what? They promised to repeal it. In other words, their position is, vote for John Callahan's opponent. He'll make college more expensive, it'll be harder to repay your debt, and we'll add $20 billion to the national debt. So they don't say that. They say, oh, they socialized the student loan program. What they've done is to try to make America #1 again. Our future is riding on it. Your future is riding on it. If every student in this congressional district knew what was in that student loan bill and knew the leaders of the other party had promised to repeal it, they would vote in greater numbers than the rest of the population, and John Callahan would be the next congressman. So I want you to tell them when you leave here. Put the message out. Put it on Facebook. Put it on YouTube, Twitter. Do all that stuff you do. Put it up in all the campuses, in the libraries, in the cafeterias, in the student union. Tell people. I'm telling you, I've been all over the country, and people do not know. Young people do not know what is in this bill, much less the leaders that promised to repeal it. It will change life for the better in America for millions of people, and it will make us a stronger country.